What's up guys, it's Lord Both here for another video, and it's getting difficult to actually keep up with the amount of job cuts that Microsoft is putting out. It seems like every time we turn around, Microsoft seems to be coming out with worse and worse news, while Xbox seems to be chugging along, pretending that nothing bad seems to be happening. And that they're leading the way for the future of gaming. Meanwhile, developers are dropping like flies. Why am I talking about this? Well, because, and this comes to us from Insider Gaming, Microsoft cutting thousands more jobs after just laying off 6,000 people.
I declare bankruptcy!
In May, Microsoft laid off 3% of its global employee base, letting go as many as 6,000 people to implement organizational changes necessary to best position the company for success. In a report published today by Bloomberg, it was revealed that thousands more jobs are set to be cut, with a particular focus on Microsoft's sales departments. In May, a staggering number of employees were let go from Microsoft, and it was reported that even higher level management wasn't safe from the vast waves of redundancies. This upcoming hit will be the third major round of layoffs in Microsoft in just 6 months.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
And the wild thing about this story, everybody, this news came out weeks ago, June 18, 2025. And guess what? These cuts, well, they're here, and they're here in a massive way. This comes to us from Windows Central. Microsoft is closing down Xbox Studio, the Interactive, with Perfect Dark killed as well, joining Everwild and ZeniMax's new IP and other unannounced projects.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
The announcement that Perfect Dark was being canceled and the studio shut down comes as the article states, today, Microsoft revealed broad layoffs hitting 4% of its global workforce across every division at the company. Many of those layoffs are hitting Xbox, with staffers in various departments receiving notice today. Many of those affected include Xbox Studio, the Interactive, which sadly is being closed down. Perfect Dark was set to be a revival of Rare's classic stealth IP from the early 2000s. The team at the Interactive was set up in 2018 with studio heavyweights including leader Daryl Gallagher of Tomb Raider fame. Gallagher's former team at Crystal Dynamics was working with Microsoft on Perfect Dark, and that partnership will now be concluded. And if you're not familiar with Daryl Gallagher, besides looking like what you would get if you tried to face swap John Bernthal's face on John Krasinski's head, he also didn't just work on Tomb Raider, he worked on a lot of Tomb Raiders, and he also worked on a lot of Call of Duties for Activision. This guy's been head of studio, head of development. He has been top level guy at some very big games. Whether those games were well received, all of them, or not, or in general better than some of their previous installments, well, that's up for debate.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
One of the problems with the Perfect Dark reboot that were being announced was not just the numerous production problems, but also the fact that people, upon seeing it, weren't that hot about it.
Nope.
The announcement and first visuals we got of the game came out in the height of the anti-woke era, in which the main protagonist, a woman, was hammered pretty hard for looking mannish. Not feminine enough. And there were a lot of questions of exactly how faithful the reboot was going to be to the previous running of the series. But as kind of hinted at, this isn't the only thing that's being canceled. Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty, which is a wild name, shared the following email internally confirming that Rare IP Everwild, Perfect Dark, and other announced projects have been canceled. Windows Central understands that one of these projects was ZeniMax's Online's new MMORPG Blackbird, previously meant to succeed the Elder Scrolls Online. That's actually probably not that bad of an idea to cut. If we're going to be brutally honest right now, the age of MMORPGs is in steep decline. As somebody who is a massive fan of Star Wars The Old Republic, the player base is just, it's not what it used to be anymore. People are just not picking up those kinds of games. It's said to be about 9,000 employees are being cut from Microsoft, a company that has well over 200,000 employees. So that's a significant percentage. 4% is what they said, I think. So this is not just affecting Xbox, it's affecting Microsoft as a whole. And the big takeaway of all this is that Perfect Dark was supposed to be one of those blockbuster big AAA games that they were going to hang their hat on, right? Maybe not as a new awesome franchise, but a definite reboot that will get people interested in something new that they might not have even known existed before this. People like me, I never heard of Perfect Dark. I never played Perfect Dark back in the day. It clearly was not something then that interested me, but maybe the reboot could have got me interested. It definitely won't now, mostly because the game is canceled and the studio is dead. Well, like I was saying, the point here is that it's not just small developers and studios, even under the blanket of these large publishers anymore. It's not just independent guys either. It's not even the yabos that are running Ubisoft. Now, big projects from significant developers who have a long, successful pedigree at a massive publisher are being affected. It is definitely something that does not point well to the health of the company and their direction. The only thing you can really say about this is that pressure creates diamonds, and maybe Xbox and Microsoft, under all this pressure and with massive amounts of failure looming over them, can create something that is a diamond, which is probably what they're betting on with their whole everything is an Xbox campaign. Basically transitioning to a platform rather than a console. In terms of other games that might have been in danger, well, Hazardor Gaming on Twitter X says this: Variety. Xbox has more than 40 projects in active development. Source close to the situation has told Variety that every game featured at the Xbox Games Showcase presentation in June is continuing on. So everything that we saw at the Xbox Games Showcase, which to be fair, was probably the most successful showcases of all the terrible summer showcases that we saw, those games are going to continue on. They're still in development, probably going to still come out. Don't put a ton of faith in that. They could still cancel everything. But as of right now, those games are still happening. There are a few things you can count on with this. The first being that PlayStation fanboys are going to come out and be dancing around the witch's pole, kissing their PlayStation 5s and chanting 77 million sold, thinking they're getting a massive win here. And in a little sense, they are. It's not a good financial look when your company is making massive cuts of thousands of employees. I will say that this additionally does not look good for Microsoft when they just raise the price of their consoles that they can't sell already in an attempt to squeeze consumers for more money. And if you don't think a price increase on Game Pass is coming,
You are coping and seething.
no, it's coming. It might not be today, might not be tomorrow, it might not be till next year, but it's coming because these cuts clearly indicate that they need the revenue. But again, Xbox and Microsoft could be making the cuts that they need to play the long game here, assuming that there is a long game. And they're not just, making this up as they go. Because don't put it past them to do something that stupid. The second thing here is that this has officially become a performance-based league.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams, but this is exactly.
No more handouts, no more second chances. If you're a studio and you work under Microsoft's banner, if you don't perform, you're getting massive cuts, if not shut down. And I'd say that everybody's on the table, even Bethesda. And I gotta say, if I'm Obsidian right now, I'm sweating bullets. Because if Outer Worlds 2 does not sell, which I don't think it will, yikes.
I'm in danger.
But it will be interesting to see how all these developments come together as we move along and see where Microsoft is financially in a year, maybe a couple years, and see if Xbox can't even just survive, but also transition into something new in this financial climate for them. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.